welcome back to my download special review. If you've seen my other two videos, you'll know that this is day 3 of the festival, Sunday, and I'm going to make a few points about the entire festival at the end. So I'll briefly run through the bands I saw, and then I'll have a chat about Download Festival itself and a few thoughts on this year. So Sunday, man, it was hot on the Sunday, and Sunday's always an odd day because everyone, goes full pelt on the Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, everyone's a bit broken. It felt like everyone was quite lethargic. I certainly felt quite lethargic on the Sunday. You try and push through it as best you can, and you have peaks and troughs. But how the weather was as well, it was roasting on a Sunday. So everyone was sweating out alcohol from 2 days, and you didn't feel like moshing around too much. And the arena's massive. The festival's huge nowadays, and I'm really annoyed that I didn't get across to see a couple of bands I really wanted to see. It was just too hot to be out in the open that much. So I was really wanted to see Jamie Lemon. I didn't get across to see him. I heard he sounded great. His album's brilliant really recently, and I wanted to see Mirka on the Dogtooth stage, but I never got up there either. So it's a real shame there. So, but what I did see was Body Count on the second stage at about 3 o'clock. That was the hottest part of the day, and I stood in the sun, and that's what kind of killed me. So I blame Body Count for not going to see Jamie Lemon, basically. So I saw Body Count. Now, I'm not a massive Body Count fan. I don't really own any of their albums. I haven't really listened to much of their stuff. I know the big songs, but I think they drew a big crowd. It was a big draw. They're a big, much like Baby Metal I was talking about yesterday's review. They are an intrigue band. People who are casual fans of festivals will go watch Body Count because it's Ice-T. And Ice-T's a legend. So Body Count came on. They were great. I thought they were excellent. I thought full of attitude, full of energy. And Ice-T's just a consummate frontman. He was so good. And, the bass player bled everywhere all over the stage. I don't know if it was on purpose or by accident. I think by accident. And added to the stage show for me. But Ice-T was brilliant, and the crowd were really, really up for it. The big songs like There Goes the Neighborhood and Talk Shit, Get Shot, they sounded fantastic, and the crowd were all over them. They were really up for it. I thought Body Count was great. One of the surprise bands of the weekend for me. I really enjoyed them. The next band I saw was more by accident than a band I wanted to see. I was waiting for Marilyn Manson to come on, and we were just sat on the hill and watching Shinedown. Now, Shinedown are not a band I'm a fan of. I don't own any of the records. I've heard their stuff because it's all over radio sometimes, and I think they're pretty weak. I think they are Radio America, Nickelback light, sort of very radio-friendly rock, and they're a very nice band, but there's not a lot of edge to them. They seem very cliched and choreographed in what they do. The front man is just a walking cliche of rock. He does all the you shout hey over here and then you shout hey over there and then we'll do it together and who's loudest. He's full of cliches. But the crowd seemed to lap it up. There was a lot of people watching them. Really surprised. I didn't think they were big over here. I know they are massive in America, but I didn't think the UK had really embraced them at all. So to see them that high up the bill and pulling that big a crowd was a real surprise. So maybe it's just not for me. Maybe that's my problem with it. The crowd seemed to really enjoy it. And there are a lot of Shinedown t-shirts kicking around. So a big surprise that they did as well as they did, I think. But yeah, so I watched Shinedown. After that, I went down for Marilyn Manson. Now, Marilyn Manson, which Manson are you going to get? That's why you always go down to watch Marilyn Manson. I watched him a few years ago at Download, and he was pretty good. But I think his visual aspect on that night, he was headlining the second stage, and he was in darkness, and it was more of a visual treat than let's say, playing in daylight on the main stage. So I think he got away with it more on the second stage. He probably phoned it in a little bit more on the second stage. Whereas on the main stage, in sort of let's say the heat of the day, he didn't really have anywhere to hide. So it was going to be really interesting, I thought, to see what Manson we're going to get. Are we going to get the drunk rolling around on the floor Manson, or are we going to get the rock star, big energy, big live show Manson? Excuse me. Well, we got somewhere in the middle, I think. I think he did pretty good. I thought he sounded better than he did last time I watched him, and I thought his stage show was decent. He's not suited to daytime, let's say. For a visual treat, you want to watch him at night. But I thought the crowd were really enjoying it, and I thought he sounded good. He looked better than he did last time. He's still a bit fat, but aren't we all? And but he pulled it off well, and he kept knocking the mic stand over and then picking it up. He's turning into a bit of a prima donna. I always think it's a bit like, if anyone remembers James Brown, the soul singer. He used to do the thing where he'd collapse on stage and a roadie would throw a towel on him, and then he'd throw it off and, oh, I'm still okay, and it was just his thing. And not that Manson did that, but there was a roadie that just kept coming on and toweling him down. It was a bit rock starish, but man, it was fucking warm that day. And Manson had about 400 different costumes. If he stopped pissing around and doing costume changes, he could probably squeeze another couple of songs in there. And some of his costumes, the big bird coat, must have been absolutely boiling. But fair play to Manson. I thought he pulled it off, and I thought he did a really good job. You can't knock the songs that he plays. Irresponsible Hate Anthem, Antichrist Superstar, Beautiful People, Mob Scene. He reeled them all out, and they all sounded really good, really big. And Manson was on, a really good form with the crowd as well. So I think it was a success for him. I think he did well. He'll always have people who go, nah, he's not as good as he used to be. And he's probably not as good as he used to be. But as a nostalgia act, maybe that's what he is nowadays, a nostalgia act. And, I thought he did all right. I thought he did a strange closing song. He did a cover of Cry Little Sister as his closing number, which was a really odd song to close on. He sort of closed on Beautiful People, disappeared off stage, and everyone thought he was done. And then he came back on and did a cover of a song that not many people would know. So it's a strange one. But I think he pulled it off. I think he did fine. I had to be quick though, because I was wanting to go watch Rise Against on the second stage, and Manson overran Rise Against by about 10 minutes. I missed the first 10 minutes of Rise Against, but I got right down the front for them for the last sort of 40 minutes of their set. And I thought they were great. I last saw Rise Against, I think in Download was 2015 when I saw them, and they were middle of the day, main stage kind of time, and I don't know what it was that day. Maybe it was just the shit weather, which it usually is at Download, but the crowd seemed really low energy, and the band seemed sort of low energy, and it just didn't work. But this time, I thought it was brilliant. I thought they were really, really good. I thought the crowd was energetic, and I thought the band fed off the crowd brilliantly, and they were energetic. I thought they sounded great. I know a lot of people I heard that didn't think the sound was good for them. I thought from where I was right near the front, around the circle pits, and I thought they sounded fine. I thought they sounded really good, really tight. Tim's a good front man. He gets a bit preachy between songs, but they're a political punk band, so it's hard to knock that. But all the big songs, Give It All, The Saviour, they all got reeled out, and they sounded fantastic. Big punk anthems, big crowd-pleasing songs, and that's exactly what they were, crowd-pleasers, and everyone enjoyed it. The question is, are they headliners? It's a strange band to headline the second stage, I think. Especially after watching Parkway the day before, and the stage set that Parkway brought with them. To see Rise Against headline with just essentially 4 guys on stage with a backdrop. It didn't seem like a headline stage show. Maybe they're a headline band, but their stage show isn't really headline material. I know they are only a punk band, and really, what else can you do? But it would have been nice to have a bit more visual impact on them. But I thought they pulled it off well, and I thought they had a big crowd for them, and they really enjoyed it. So they were great. It was good for them. I was really pleased they went down well. So after that, all we had left was Ozzy Osbourne. I wasn't really going to bother watching Ozzy Osbourne. I even took the mick on one of my other videos saying it was going to be like watching Weekend at Bernie's. Ozzy's kicking on now. What is he? He's about 70. Is he over 70 now? He's getting pretty old, pretty grizzled, and I really wasn't expecting anything from him. And let's just say I was really pleasantly surprised. I thought Ozzy sounded fantastic. I thought his vocals were really on form. I've seen Ozzy before with Sabbath and without Sabbath in the past, and sometimes he sounds poor, like really poor. His vocals are sort of come and go, and he knows that himself. But I thought his vocals were really, really good. Maybe on No More Tears they wavered a little bit, but apart from that, his vocals were really on form. He was full of energy, full of beans. He looked like he did 20 years ago. So how long are we going to have Ozzy for? I thought he was finished. Maybe not. Maybe he'll come and headline again in another 5 years. Probably not, though. It was lovely to watch him headline, though, because he's a legend, and maybe this is the last time I'll have him here. So, as a send off, I thought he was great. I thought the crowd really enjoyed him. I think everyone in the crowd was pleasantly surprised that Ozzy was that good. My big bone of contention with it was the 30 minutes of soloing and drum solo we got in the middle of War Pigs. It was so long, and it was too long. Where did Ozzy go? Did he go for a nap or something? I know he's getting old. Did he go for a lie down? But they started playing War Pigs, and then Zakk Wylde started soloing, which you expect. Zakk Wylde, and people love him as a guitarist. You expect a few solos, but for that long, it went on for ages. And then we had a drum solo to finish, and I've just got lost of where they were. Were they still playing the same song? I even heard someone behind me say, "Is this still War Pigs?" And I agree. Was that still War Pigs? I had no idea. Got completely lost. And for a casual fan, it probably got a little bit boring. But saying that, the rest of his set I thought was excellent. I thought he headlined brilliantly. And did he finish early? Was it just me? It seemed to finish at 10:30. I'm sure he was going to finish later. But yeah, Ozzy really good. I thought it was a real success and a real surprise success, that one. So that was it for the bands at Download Festival. Just a few points I want to make about Download Festival. I think this year they spent all their money on Guns N' Roses, which in a way is fine. They were the big draw of the weekend. They are the reason probably 80% of the people went to Download this year was to see Guns N' Roses. But it showed the rest of in the rest of the bill, it showed that they'd spent a lot of money on Guns N' Roses, because some of the bookings to me were just strange. Bullet for My Valentine, sub-headlining on the main stage on the Friday. They are not a big enough band to do that, and I think they're lucky that they're under Avenged Sevenfold, because if you're an Avenged Sevenfold fan, you're probably a Bullet fan. They're a very similar sounding band, but they are not a big enough band for that. They had their sort of time where they were getting popular, and they then failed spectacularly by releasing Temper Temper, which was a terrible album, and then they released Venom the other year. Was it last year? Which was meant to be sort of the comeback album. It even got some good reviews, but no one seemed fussed by it. And to me, I don't think Bullet are that big a band to be that high up. They've booked arena tours for later in the year as well. That's optimistic at best. Anyway, yeah, that was a strange booking. And then you look across the board. Hell is for Heroes, as I said before, sub-headlining on the second stage. They're not a big enough band to do that. And it showed by the crowd. They should have been in a tent somewhere. They could have headlined the Avalanche stage or the Dogtooth stage on one of the other days. We had Baroness headlining on the fourth stage on a Sunday. They are a big enough band to go on the second stage and sub-headline. And then you look at the main stage on the Saturday, and that was just like having classic rock stage there. It was like a Rambling Man Fair stage. You had no real draw apart from the Blackstone Cherry, the Temperance Movement, Whiskey Myers. It was all the southern rock sounding band, and it was such a strange. I don't know if that's what they thought with Guns N' Roses being a bit classic rock. They'll just stick a load of classic rock underneath them. But Guns N' Roses are way more punk than that, and they deserve some better bands beneath them. Because I thought that stage was really poor on that day. And yeah, so it would have been nice to see some other bands and different style bands. They don't have to be the same style as the headliners. And I think the main stage suffered this year because of that. And it would have been nice to see some of the younger upcoming bands being on the main stage. Really, it was only Marmozets on the Friday, who were a smaller band, more up-and-coming UK band, who got given a good chance on the Friday. So it would be nice to see some of the smaller bands get put on there. I think they missed a trick this year they didn't book Trivium or Architects. I thought they were the two bands I thought were guaranteed to be at Download this year. Trivium have just come back with a belter of an album. There's a resurgence in their popularity. They're a huge band. They love Download Festival. And Architects are one of the biggest UK bands at the moment. They are the most up-and-coming band in the UK, and they're a fantastic live band. And maybe they did try and book them and they just didn't want to do it, or maybe they just didn't have the money to book them. And that's what I think. They just ran out of money after Guns N' Roses and couldn't really afford the bill that they wanted. So yeah, it's a shame that. I don't think the bill was as good as other years either. I mean, you look across. We had Rob Zombie headlining the second stage last year, and this year you've got You and Me at 6 and Rise Against. They're just not as big. They're not as big. So it'll be interesting to see next year where we go. And it's another gripe of mine. Future headliners. Where are the future headliners at Download Festival? We can't have Ozzy forever, even though I said he was decent. I think he's done. and you end up having the roulette of headliners that we always get at Download Festival. Who will it be next year? Well, my guess already will be Slipknot, because they'll have another album out. I think Tool will headline next year because they've got an album out, and I think it'll either be Metallica or Maiden. And it's like, we've had them all before, but not Tool. The other two we have. So you run out of headliners very quickly with Download, which is why, even though I didn't watch Avenged and I'm not a big fan of Avenged, they need to have bands like that doing it. So I think in the next couple of years they've got to give bands a chance at headlining this festival. I think Parkway have got to be given a chance, and I think Architects have got to be given a chance. They could play on the same day, one could sub-headline the other, and I think it would go down really well. You've got to give these bands a chance. So yeah, future headliners. Who the hell are future headliners at Download? In 5-10 years, they're all going to be gone. All these bands, Maiden, Metallica, they ain't going to be around. So we need bands to come through. So they've got to put bands on the main stage and give them a try, because we won't have headliners otherwise. So that's a real shame. So I think they missed a trick this year. So it'll be interesting next year to see the bill, see if it's. I think it'll be better next year because they won't have spent all their money on one band. Yeah. That's it really. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed Download Festival. I had a really good time. I thought the weather was great, and I thought that they always put on a great festival there. Just, apart from the band, just the actual festival is fantastic. It's getting bigger and bigger, and really popular festival. So yeah, great. Hopefully I'll go again next year. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of the festival. Cheers. Thanks.